I'd like to show you how to work a knit, yarn over, knit into the same stitch again, double increase in reversible lace. Now probably the most common double increase in lace knitting is yarn over, knit one, yarn over. And it produces this very obvious spine with lace on both sides. The one I want to show you is sort of its sister maneuver, which is knit, yarn over, knit into the same stitch again. And it gives you a subtle line of holes. If we do the first one, if we do yarn over, knit, yarn over in reversible lace, all we have to do is double yarn over, knit and purl, and then double yarn over, and we get our very obvious spine. That's a pretty easy maneuver, so I will not bother to demonstrate that. Knit, yarn over, knit is a little trickier, however. So if we're doing this in reversible lace, remember a regular double increase would be turning one stitch into 3 stitches. Well, in reversible lace, that's going to be turning 2 stitches into 6 stitches. And since we are mimicking knit, yarn over, knit, instead we're going to be doing knit, purl, double yarn over, and then knit and purl in the same pair. So here we go. So we start with a knit. This is the daughter stitch on the right needle. This is the mother stitch. I have to let it fall off the left needle, but pay attention to where that mother stitch is, and especially the left shoulder. We're going to need that again in a minute. Yarn forward and purl. This time I don't let the mother stitch fall off the left needle because I need it again in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here. I need to find the left shoulder of the mother stitch. There we are. So I brought my left needle tip up behind into it. So now it's up on the left needle where I can work it. I need to throw my double yarn over before I work it. And now I will work it by putting the right needle into the sort of back of the loop position. So it looks like I'm working the stitch through the back of the loop. I'm not. I'm working it through the front because the stitch is facing to the right or east rather than to the left or west. So I'm not twisting it closed. I'm working it open. That comes off the needle. Now I can bring the yarn to the front and I can purl that mother stitch that I had left parked on the left needle. And then that comes off. In my swatch, this is a fairly subtle double increase. You don't really see the holes. If you are working a lace pattern where you want the holes to really show because the holes are part of the patterning, consider working a triple or even a quadruple yarn over in between the knit purl pairs. On the next row or round, you can just drop the extra loops and that will give you a bigger hole. Working into the same stitch multiple times though got me thinking. Normally in knitting we can't knit into the same stitch more than once. Right, I do that and that looks like I knit the stitch 3 times and I have 3 stitches. Except when I take it off the needle, what do I have? I have just a big loop. I have 1 large stitch, not 3 separate stitches. If I want 3 separate stitches, then what I have to do instead is knit, yarn over, and knit. And that gives me 3 separate stitches. There are some specialty stitches, such as lace stitches, bobbles, noops, star stitches, that are made this way by working knit, yarn over, knit multiple times into the same stitch. But of course in regular knitting each stitch is 1 stitch, where in reversible lace each stitch is actually a pair of stitches. So in reversible lace, you can work into the same stitch twice without working the intervening yarn overs. You can work knit and purl, and then you can back up and knit into the same stitch again, and purl, and then back up again, and so on. So it is possible in reversible lace to work into the same stitch multiple times. There are some crochet maneuvers that aren't typically done in knitting, because in crochet you can work the same stitch multiple times, and in knitting you can't. But in reversible lace, I'm thinking there may be some crochet maneuvers that you can do in reversible lace. I have not fully explored this, so that's merely food for thought and exploration. But there you are. That is how to work the knit, yarn over, knit double increase in reversible lace, with the bonus thought of you might be able to knit into the same stitch twice when you're working reversible lace.